Good morning, guys, from Beirut. It's a beautiful morning here in the Middle East, and I'm heading out for breakfast. And I'm officially out, and I'm exploring the streets of Beirut at the moment. Very sad to see. It seems like this economical crisis has really made an impact on the country, and it's very bad. Hope the Lebanese people will endure this, and hope they will find a way around. I know they are very resilient people and they adapt very easily, but yeah, see how they are suffering these days is very horrible. So I'm gonna explain you guys shortly about the situation in Lebanon. It's a great economic crisis in the country because back in the 90s the Lebanese lira was very dependent on the US dollar, but for some reason, they say it's due to corruption, the Lebanese lira didn't manage to hold the same currency rate as the US dollar, so it fell down extremely, and by these times it has lost its value of 90% to the US dollar, so it's worth almost nothing. They say it's due to politicians. They owe them a lot of money, the locals, so you can't really use your credit card in Lebanon. It's very bizarre. So what you need to do is to, when you enter the country, is basically to bring a lot of US dollar with you, or euro. They also accept euro, by the way, in some markets, but not all of them. And then you need to go to a black market and exchange them into the local currency. Because if you use ATM, you can have to pay I heard 25 times more than you would usually do. So, for instance, if you want to withdraw $100 US, you can have to pay $1,500 US just to get 100 from the ATM. So it's extreme how the inflation has impacted the country. But I hope the country will find a solution. I know there are some neighbor countries who's trying to help them, and including France as well as Saudi Arabia and so. But at the moment it looks very, very sad actually. Yeah, enough about that. Now I'm in Beirut, and I'm in a place called Zainab Bay, which is the bay you can see behind me. And then you have these amazing mountains. Wow, that is something. I know Lebanon is a very mountainous country. There's a lot of hiking tracks around Beirut. And my first impression of Beirut is there's a lot of impressions. It's very good. I am very excited to explore Beirut. So yesterday evening I arrived, and it took a long time in the immigration. I think it took 2 hours because they had very few people working, and I don't think there are many tourists these days. But except for that, there were many locals in the plane that I took from Germany. But it just took a long time with all of them. So I had to take a PCR test at the arrival, and that went very smooth. No lines or anything. was a tragical explosion in August 2020 when the port, which is not too far from where we are now actually, exploded with nitrat. There was a nitrat that exploded and it killed 300 people and left 300,000 homeless. As you can see here, these are leftovers from the explosion. There was so much that was affected by it. I mean, even inside, they heard the explosion. And Cyprus is in Europe, so it just tells how massive the amount and how massive this explosion was. So yeah, as you can see here, like all these random houses were hardly affected by the explosion. As you can see, you see this first floors here totally burnt, and it doesn't seem like anything else is working neither over there. But yeah, that's the terrible result of the Beirut explosion last year. Clear that Lebanon has influence from Europe because they were colonized by France for quite a long time. So Lebanese, they mix French and Arabic a lot when they speak. So for example, if an Arab in Saudi Arabian Arabic says كيف حالك, Lebanese Arabic is كيفك صباح. So you have كيفك, which is Arabic, and you have صباح, which is the French word of how are you. So it's very, very fascinating country. So much mixture of cultures here, which I'm gonna explain eventually. Prayer time. The minaret. So much impressions everywhere. It's first of all, the people here are very kind. They're very helpful. Like in my hotel, they're so helpful. I know hotel business is a different business, but I've seen the same kind of hospitality in a lot of places that I've visited so far. It's very interesting to see. Street lights are not working here. And I can't see any street lights anywhere working. I have the feeling it's because of the eco crisis, which is quite sad. Hello. Salam. Saj manouche. You have saj manouche?
No, we don't serve manouche here.
Okay, no sir. But do you have Lebanese cuisine?
We do have Lebanese cuisine.
Yeah? Alright.
Hummus, tabouleh, fattoush, taouk, kafta, sausages, sajok, chicken liver.
I'll go for that. Can I sit outside?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. So I heard that due to the electricity crisis, if you go to street vendors or if you go to street restaurants, you should be aware of not eating meat when you go there, because they can't preserve the meat in a stable condition, because the electricity goes on and off all the time, and it can be away for several hours, even days in worst case scenarios. So when you go to a restaurant, go to a proper restaurant, which you know has a good reputation, like in a hotel or something. And if you want to eat meat, you can eat there. I need to exchange some cash because it's very difficult in Lebanon with the currency these days. You need to bring euro or dollar, as I explained earlier. and you need to exchange them in a black market. So you can't exchange them in a bank because the banks will charge an extreme amount for some dollars. They will charge you 25 times more depending on the day. This is hummus, some of the most healthiest food you can ever eat. It's made of beans, and this is kibbeh, some kind of traditional Lebanese dish. It looks very similar to falafel. And this is the bread. So you break the bread, then you take the hummus, dip it into the hummus. Oh my gosh. Their cuisines are some of the freshest I've ever tried. So pure, everything. No artificial flavors at all. And kibbeh, yes, this is made of meat. I didn't know that, but as I told earlier, you should be careful with meat in random places. This is kind of a random place for me, but they seem to have a lot of guests here, so yeah, it's probably safe. That was amazing. This looks also quite heavy. I'll see how much more I can eat tonight after eating this heavy meals here. So, hummus, French fries and hummus, that's a new. That was good French fries. They don't use ketchup over here. I think because I also got this garlic sauce yesterday as well. Kind of looks like a pizza with tomato sauce. That was a fresh sauce. It's some kind of herb. So I finished my meal and I asked for a receipt, and he knew something. So let me explain you how bizarre this currency is. So this is just one meal, and according to the currency stated by the government, you will have to pay $155 US, and this is the amount you will pay if you use your credit card in Lebanon. But that's why most Lebanese, they follow the black market rate and they withdraw Lebanese lira instead. So I have 250,000 lira here, which is, according to the government rate, $155. But it's not like that, because if you do like me and like most other who comes here, at least what most people who comes here need to do, exchange your money at the black market. You will get 25 more times the value. So in reality, this is worth approximately $7. But since the currency inflation is so sick, it's worth $155. So I'm only paying, like, let's say $7 for this, but due to the inflation, this is the amount you will be charged if you pay with your credit card. But it's not the amount that will go to the restaurant, because they will get this amount, which is the same as $7, approximately $7, but the rest will just disappear. So it's so bizarre. So now I just finished my lunch, and basically just walking in Hamra Street, which is the main street in Beirut. It's here where the financial sector is situated, and the diplomatic sector, like most of the embassies, are situated around this place. And when you walk around, you can see a lot of foreigners. To the other side of the road, there are some bank exchange stores, and this is the exchange stores that the locals are using because of the financial crisis. They can't any ATMs or banks, so they go to these black markets. It's very sketchy to call it the black market because it's not actually a black market, but it is because it's they follow a different rate than the government. So you have this app that you should download. I'll link it in the bio. But it basically shows you an updated currency of the dollar to the lira. So with this app you can actually follow how much dollar is worth in lira to the black market currency. What you will see a lot in Beirut are all the graffitis. It's a lot of hateful graffitis in various places in Beirut. Most protests against the government, against hatred that is also among the groups of people living in Lebanon. You know, Lebanon is not a typical Arab country. They don't like to call themselves Arabs because they are such a mixture of various races and various religions. So they have Christian, you can't really say that Lebanon is a Muslim country because there are so many Christians who have settled down in Lebanon throughout the years due to the colonialism from France. On the north side, there are more Muslim societies, and on the south side is more Christian societies. A hill now on my way to the Pigeon Rock. We finally found it. Gosh. Whew. We have the Pigeon Rock. We have some ruined buildings. We have beautiful mountains behind there. And the Mediterranean Sea. And if you look far in the distance, which is basically impossible, you will find Cyprus. Pigeon's Rock Formation from a better angle. And here you have it. It's very cool. Some nice people. It's just smiling all the time. And the people I meet there. More modernized. You can see behind me, the buildings there are quite tall, except for the suffering from the explosion. And over here you have Burger King. It's a known brand. Not up for Burger King now, but I normally visit either McDonald's or Burger King at least once during my travels, because I like to taste how they make it in the country I'm visiting. It's very much Los Angeles feeling. That's also one thing, is that Lebanon is called Middle East's version of Las Vegas, because there are so many people from the other Arab, surrounding Arab nations who come to Lebanon for partying, gambling, etc., etc. So Lebanon has been a very organized and very well-developed country for many years, until the civil war and recent economical collapse that unfortunately happened in the country, including the lack of electricity, gas problem, and a very sad explosion that happened last year. But before all this, Lebanon used to be, and still is, kind of the Arabs' version of Las Vegas. Look at these beach waves. That's so beautiful. So the view we saw just reminded me of Los Angeles. This reminds me of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I don't know why, but it's something with the skylines alongside the beach, the mountains in the background, and dry nature on the side. It's very pretty.